Oh, that kind of sucks, guys. Sorry. Looks like this one's getting filmed on the phone in its entirety. That's a real bummer, man. I'm pretty irritated about that. Stupid. Ooh, nice. Yeah, that was awesome. Now, Luxe Hiking Gear claims that that's a 6-person tent, and whoever makes that claim is just, they're smoking crack. I've got an interesting adventure ahead of me, I think. It's December 18th, and I'm out on a lake, paddling around. Gonna do some hot tent camping tonight. And it's a little bit sad because there's no ice at all, none. But that being said, there's snow on the way. It's supposed to snow. It's starting right now. Actually, just started right now. So I've got to concentrate on getting to where I'm going and setting up camp before things get a little bit too gnarly. This is cool. This is cool. I've never done this before. I've never paddled this late in the season, and I've never paddled in snow. As much as I want to take it all in and enjoy myself, I need to get to land and get camp set up. So that's priority number one. And the camp spot that I'm looking for is right out there. We're forecasted to get anywhere from 6 to 10 inches tonight, but I'd be happy if we ended up with 5. I'd also be happy if we ended up with 2 feet. A year ago, we were in for a snowstorm that was supposed to leave about 6 to 10 inches, and we ended up getting about 3 feet. So maybe we'll get a repeat performance. Right now it's approximately 33 degrees and snowing. And I'm out on the water. I've never done this before. It's so exciting. I'm excited. This is awesome. Now that I've got myself all situated, the tent is up, gear is under the tent, protected from the snow. I think it's time to have an adult beverage and put my stove together. Yeah. Beer. Isn't that a thing of beauty? Cheers. This is pretty cool, guys. You can't go wrong with a long trail. Tried and true, one of my all-time favorites right here. This is delicious. Hits the spot. That's what she said. First setup of the season right here. This is my large Seek Outside titanium stove. And I just love this thing. Here's a neat little hack. Get yourself a piece of Velcro or a strap or something of the sort. And now I have made a modification for it, which is this glass door. It adds a little bit of extra weight, but for this trip, it's worth it. I did do a video on this modification, and if you're interested in any of the details on what it took to do this, I'll leave cards up in the corner and links in the description. A worthwhile modification, for sure. Also, just in case, if this ever breaks, I keep the original door, and this thing is super, super light, so it's worth the weight to have it on hand, just in case. Seek Outside large titanium stove, Luxe Octopeak, Wenonah Wilderness Kevlar. I'm not exactly sure if the camera's going to pick it up, but the snow is actually starting to stick and accumulate to the surface of the water. Oh yeah. That'll all be frozen over come morning. I'm almost sure of it. As of just a couple days ago, this whole cove was iced over. The ice, actually, as of last night, I called one of my buddies and said, hey, how's the lake looking? And that was last night. And he said, still spotty with some ice. This morning, he got a hold of me and said, hey, the ice is gone. You might want to come out. This is your chance. That being said, it's about 33 degrees right now. The snow is starting to accumulate on the top of the water, and I suspect by the time morning rolls around, probably going to be frozen, and I'm probably going to have to walk out of here, like my buddy Mark from the Backcountry Paddler. It's like deja vu, man. But I'm fully prepared for that to happen, and I took that situation into consideration. It's not too far of a walk through these woods to get out of here, so if this freezes over, I'll be good. No problems at all. I'll just pack up my gear, take some extra time, and walk it all right out of here. Like my buddy Mark. Just a week or so ago, he encountered the same situation. He paddled out into a little spot, camped overnight, and the morning woke up and it was frozen over. It was a pretty fun little adventure for him. It was a fun video to watch. If you don't know who Mark is, his channel name is the Backcountry Paddler, and he's doing some pretty fun stuff. So if you want to see his fun adventure where he paddles out to a little pond and the pond freezes over overnight and he's got to walk through the woods to get all this stuff out and back to safety, you should check it out. It's a good video. And I suspect the same thing is going to happen to me tomorrow. So it's always an adventure. This is awesome. This stove and I, we've been together for a little while, and today marks the start of our 4th season together. It's held up very well considering I use it more than it's probably intended to be used. These are really good stoves. Oh, that kind of sucks, guys. Sorry. Looks like this one's getting filmed on the phone in its entirety. That's a real bummer, man. I'm pretty irritated about that. Stupid. For my sleep system tonight, I'm using a ground sheet right on top of the ground. I'm putting a Thermarest Z-Lite foam pad. Then I'm using my Nemo tensor, which I'm putting inside a fleece sleeve that I made for it last year. I really like that fleece sleeve because it's a really cheap way to add more R value. And it also allows me to use the pad all year long. So I feel like that's giving me more for my money. Then on top of that, I have my Outdoor Vitals 0 Degree Summit bag, which I love. Been using that for a few years now, and that thing is awesome. Topped off with my Climate air pillow with another fleece sleeve that I made for that. And now that I've got everything where I want it, I just take that ground sheet and I fold it up over the whole system to protect it and kind of scoot it towards the back to get it out of the way. And I'm sitting in my Helinox Chair Zero right now. This is a good tent. I'm using the Luxe hiking gear Octopeak for this trip. And I love this tent. But it's not what it's claimed to be. This is an awesome solo tent. I think I'm going to use this tent a lot more this season as a solo tent because I'm really enjoying the space. Like there's a lot more space in here than there is in the Mini Peak XL, which is my favorite solo hot tent of all time. And this tent also has a 6-foot peak height. The Mini Peak XL is 5'2". So there's a lot more space in here. This is an awesome solo tent with a stove. It's great. Still a little short, but it is what it is. What it's not is a 6-person tent like Luxe claims. That's crazy. Have fun with that. That would suck. You could probably get 6 people in here, packed in like sardines, with no gear and no stove. But for a solo tent, this thing is awesome. It's got a ton of room. It's just right with a stove. You could get away with 2 in a stove, but it would be cramped. It'd be a bit tight. If you do plan on using this tent with 2 people in a stove, get the one that has 2 doors, and you're going to save yourself a lot of frustration. This is the winter version of this tent. It's got snow skirts and 1 door. The summer version doesn't have snow skirts. I don't think you need snow skirts anyway. Personal opinion. Take it easy on me. And it has 2 doors, which is awesome. The trade-off, 2 doors and no snow skirts, it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. I'm only going to use this tent as a solo tent, so I think I'm going to stick to the 1-door version. I was thinking about getting the 2-door version, but I don't want to run 2 people in this. That's what I've realized. It's dark out now. It's getting kind of cold. And I think it's time to start a fire. I'm getting hungry too. And I'm looking forward to dinner tonight. This I am. This is fun. Cheers. All right, tonight for dinner, I'm having breakfast. Here's some bacon that I made myself. And I'm really excited about this because this is a cured pork belly from our pigs that we raised ourselves. And this is the first time I'm trying it. I'm pretty excited about that. Now, it's not quite ready. It still has a few days of the equalization process to go through, and it's not smoked, but it's close enough for me to be willing to try it, and I'm excited. And I'm pairing the bacon with some eggs from our chickens. Simple but satisfying. I'm really excited to try this bacon. All right, let's check this out. It smells so good. This was cured with Morton sugar cure, and I did film the process, so hopefully I'll be able to put a decent video together for you. Like I said, it's not quite done, but I can't wait to try it. I just couldn't help myself. Yeah. Here it is, right there, the moment of truth. Oh my, oh man, that is really good. Really good. Wow. Slightly salty. but it still has a couple days of equalizing to go through still. And then smoking. I've made bacon in the past that was way saltier than this when it was all said and done. This is good. All right. That's excellent. I wish you guys could taste this. That was fantastic. Absolutely delicious. I'm very excited about the results of that bacon. And it can only get better. It was really good. It could be better, but it can only get better from here. It's not going to get worse. Yes. It's really hard to put into words for me. It's a lot of time and money and work and sweat and blood and effort and determination that goes into what it takes to make that result. So sitting here in a nice, comfortable, hot tent on a cold, snowy day by a lake, eating that bacon was fantastically rewarding. I'm going to head right on down to that lake shore and grab me some water so that I can make some tea. Oh yeah. Well guys, they don't call it a hot tent for nothing. It is toasty in here. Wow. I'm gonna have to go outside, but first, this isn't what you think it is. This is chocolate spearmint that we grew and dehydrated at the homestead. And this stuff smells so good. It smells just like chocolate mint. It really does, and it makes excellent tea. Okay, while that's steeping and cooling down, I have to go outside. It's hot in here. Too hot. I'm uncomfortably hot. I even have the vent open over here from when I was cooking the bacon. I never closed it. It's hot. Need fresh, cool air. This is so good. It's delicious. And that right there is an oddly beautiful sight to me. A canoe with snow on it. This is a first for me. This is so exciting. Finally, some snow. Yes. Not much, but enough to make me happy. Very winter-like conditions. Winter actually doesn't start for another 2 days. But this is wintry enough for me, and I like it. This makes me happy. Alright, It's coffee time. Coffee, 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 coffee. For breakfast, I'm going to have some bannock with some dehydrated fruit. This past fall, I dehydrated a bunch of peaches and apples. The peaches we grew and processed ourselves, but the apples were store-bought. So either way, doesn't much matter. And bannock. I've recently taken quite the liking to bannock, thanks to my buddy Craig. It's just a really good, delicious, easy, versatile food. All it is flour and salt and some baking powder. Now this batch I added quite a bit of cinnamon to because I wanted it for breakfast and snacks. It's good stuff. Coconut oil in the pan. This is so good. Man. It's a beautiful morning to be sitting here eating this. Some fresh snow, good food, good coffee, a frozen cove. I'm definitely walking out of here. Well, guess it's that time. Time to start breaking down camp. I'm definitely walking out of here. I checked the consistency of the ice to see if it was more like a slush or ice, and it's definitely a lot more solid than I feel comfortable trying to get through safely with my canoe. So I'm going to pack up my stuff and drag it through the woods. That said, going into this trip, I figured that there was going to be a high probability that that was going to happen, and it was worth it for me. I've never paddled this late in the season, never paddled in snow, never paddled in on water and had it freeze overnight. So it was a fun experience, and I knew that that was probably going to be the situation heading into it. The experience was worth it. This was a lot of fun. I had a good time. You know, it's fun when things are different. It's not the same thing every single time. Speaking of not the same thing every time and different, oh boy, I've been ruined. My whole thought process on hot tents, I believe, has changed. And it's the fault of the Hussar Plus. Now this tent behind me, it's the Luxe hiking gear Octopeak. And I love this tent, and it's been one of my favorite tents, and I used to think it was a lot bigger than it actually is. I used to think this tent had a ton of space, and I still kind of do. It's a great solo tent, but I've realized now, because of getting used to the space of the Hussar Plus, that space is awesome in hot tents. Small, lightweight hot tents have their place, for sure. Ooh, nice. Yeah, that was awesome. Now, Luxe Hiking Gear claims that that's a 6-person tent, and whoever makes that claim is just, they're smoking crack. You're not going to fit 6 people in there comfortably. I mean, you could do it, but it's going to be miserable. I used to recommend this tent to people saying that it was a good 2-person tent with a stove. Perfect. And it would work. It would be very tight, pretty uncomfortable. You're going to be tripping on each other's gear constantly because of the way the tent's laid out. It does have a lot of floor space, but it's only 6 feet tall, so 5'7", and I can just barely stand up in that thing. So the short height and the wide base make for a really low angle wall, and a lot of that space is just not really that usable. So you're going to have problems with 2 people in a stove. I know it can be done, but I wouldn't want to do it. Now, personally, at this point, I would consider this a lightweight solo tent. I wouldn't want to spend any amount of time in that with 2 people. This is just my opinion, so, you know, take it for what it is. I'm sure that people have stuffed way more people in those things, so that's cool. You know, me personally, I've gotten used to solo tents. I don't like spending my time in a tent with another person, so I would not want to spend a night in that with 2 people in a stove. That's an awesome lightweight solo tent. It's got quite a bit of space, a lot more space than the Mini Peak XL, which is still one of my favorite solo tents of all time. The Mini Peak XL and this tent are for adventures when weight really matters. So you're willing to sacrifice quite a bit of comfort for the lack of weight. Now, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that on a trip like this, where weight necessarily isn't really an issue, I'd like a bigger tent than that. I would. It makes things a lot more enjoyable. Backpacking or something of the sort, when weight matters, yeah, totally. I can understand sacrificing that space. But when you're not worried about the weight, with hot tents, space is key. I've spent my entire hot tent career basically focusing on small, lightweight tents, and the Hussar Plus has ruined me. I like that space. I love this tent. I really do. But maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe my mental outlook on things is changing. I'm still all about lightweight gear, all about it, but lightweight gear is mission specific. And it's time for me to start branching out from that mindset, because not every trip is lightweight. And last night I really realized the comfort that was lacking due to the space. So that's that. I feel like I'm tripping on my words, so hopefully I said what I needed to say, and it's time to start breaking the stuff down. This rollout titanium pipe right here, it's made it through 3 years. We're going into our 4th year together. It's in great shape. Seek outside. I love this thing. And I'd like to point out, those doors, they suck. I'd like to know what they're thinking. Luxe, if anybody's listening, and if anybody has one of these tents and agrees, let's send Luxe a message and tell them, your doors suck. Make them zip to the top. That's a feature that just, that blows. I'm 5'7", and I have to basically get on my knees and crawl through that doorway. It's honestly making me feel bad for all the times that I've recommended this tent, because that never really bothered me before, but that Hussar Plus, man, I'm telling you, those doors, if I've recommended this tent to you in the past, and I didn't mention the doors, I'm sorry. My apologies, Andrea. One of the nice things about wood stoves when you're hot tenting is that they consume a lot less wood than a campfire does. Now my Seek Outside stove, it's not the most efficient titanium stove on the market. I would never make that claim. It's definitely not an efficient stove. Now that said, even with that inefficient wood stove, those wood stoves consume much less wood than a campfire would. A campfire for last night, I would have needed 10 times the amount of wood that I used, if not more. All right, guys, it's time for me to pack on my gear and walk it on out of here. And if you want to see another cool video of nature establishing itself against a paddler, don't forget to check out Mark's channel, The Backcountry Paddler. I'll leave his channel link in a card up here, and I'll leave the link in the description. So go check him out. Some good stuff. The Backcountry Paddler. Check him out. This was a really, really fun time out in the woods. A very enjoyable experience for me. So, I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Justin. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it endlessly. And I'll see you on the next one. Till then, get outside and do something cool. That's corny. That's corny, but I like it. Yeah, I do.